Hello, welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. We have 3 stories for you today. Work less? Okay. Reported a lorry's deck for safety concerns, was told to load anyway. Forklift got stuck. And you told me the truck needed to go out. But before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you're new here and turn on notifications so you don't miss a new video every single day. Alright, let's get started. Our first story. Work less? Okay. I work nights in an industry that is very heavily seasonal. Because of this, we have what are known, in my country of residence, as annualized contracts. We get paid the same, 35 hours per week, every month regardless of how much, or how little, we work. This is the only way that my employer can keep employees over the slow season. Night workers are limited to a maximum of 8 hours per shift, so in the busy season, 4 to 5 months per year, we work up to 40 hours, as opposed to the slow season, 7 to 8 months per year, when we work 20 hours, sometimes less. In both seasons, we're paid 35 hours per week. A very important detail is that night workers' contracts cannot be changed unilaterally in this country. The worker must agree to any change in either the time we start or the time we finish because it may have an inordinate impact on household planning, childcare, etc. This year, during the busy season, some bright lights in management decided that it would be more cost-effective if we started an hour later, which would obviously push our finishing time an hour later into the morning, from 6:30 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. We were informed of this by email on the last day of the working week, and it would take effect the following week, so 2 days' notice. Keep in mind that communication between ourselves and management has a 24-hour delay due to work emails only being accessible at work. Cue malicious compliance. We sent a reply by email, which management would see the following day, but we would not see until we arrived at work at the start of the following week. No problem, we're happy to start an hour later, but we fail to see the advantage because we all have pressing household planning needs that require us to leave work at our original finishing time, so we'll be losing an hour's work. Note that this would have had no impact on our pay because it stays the same regardless, so we'd be working an hour less with the same pay. We happily came in at the start of the next week, an hour later than usual, to find a reply. On second thought, never mind. Management has decided that this would not be cost-effective after all. No kidding, how perceptive. Our next story. Reported a lorry's deck for safety concerns, was told to load anyway. Forklift got stuck. I started a new job in a warehouse as a forklift driver about 5 years ago. Night shift. This place was supposed to be tip-top in health and safety, as they'd had an accident 2 years prior on site in which a poor worker died due to a forklift collision. I did my first day shift after lots of training and receiving my license. The old guy there, who was very firm with these policies, didn't believe it was a real license and had to check it, but it was. Passed their instructor training too. I went on to start my very first night shift the next day. All night long, I'm driving this shitty 5 miles per hour forklift, loading lorries. Part of their safety checks was to ensure that the wooden deck was clear of debris and that the curtains were safe too, without any rips or tears. The last wagon I had to load at like 5:30 a.m., half an hour before finish, was a state. The deck was wet because there were so many holes in the curtain, and it had been raining all night. So, I reported it and refused to load. Manager comes along, and I get the hole loaded or you can quit. So, I loaded it. Filled it halfway until the accident happened. While reversing, the back wheel slid on the wet deck and went through the curtain, causing the forklift to topple. It was only supported by the curtain. The only accident I'd ever had was well shaken up. Reported it to my manager, who tried to pin the blame on me, and at 5:50 the day shift started turning up. I got my shit together and left. As I was coming around the front of the building on my way, I hoped they'd decided to open the curtain, and it collapsed in a heap. Never went back. The agency I was working for tried to give me hell from the manager. I just told them that I worked 8 hours, I want 8 hours pay, and to fuck off. I probably should have tried reporting them, but their word against mine and all that. And our last story. You told me the truck needed to go out. I graduated in 2009. I was a guardsman, so I needed a full-time job. The economy was less than stellar, so I did a stint as an armored car driver and courier. I got to work at my scheduled time of, like, 6 a.m. I am going over to the truck. The tires are bald, and you can see the cable. The seat didn't adjust. So that meant someone zip-tied a block of wood to the gas pedal. I have tons of stories of this place, and all of them are hilarious, like the time a dude shot a pistol inside the truck and shrapnel hit his partner, but somehow, he kept his job, and was promoted. The guy lived and still worked. I told my boss, and he said, "Yeah, the truck needs to go out." I said, "Bro, I am censoring his name, this will not pass any inspection whatsoever. We have bald tires, a fucking zip-tied block of wood on the gas pedal, and various other safety issues with this truck." My boss said, "You can either drive it or quit." I decided to stay. I was making $10.50/hour and having trouble finding work. My partner realizes the stupidity of this whole situation. Oh, it's also in Wisconsin. It was winter, and it was snowing. So, we took the pass out. I am driving along on the highway, and as I'm approaching a ramp, I realize we weren't downshifting, it's an automatic truck. The fucking gas pedal was wedged between the floor and the center console. So now I'm using one foot on the brake and the other to free the damn gas pedal. At our stop, we called the DOT and asked for an investigation, and we reported everyone who made these calls. They ended up having to use U-Hauls to carry money because so many vehicles were in need of service. Instead of actually doing maintenance, they just ignored it. A few people lost their jobs over that. Many customers complained to corporate, which helped facilitate a buyout by a very large company, that we were using U-Haul trucks to haul money. I have zero regrets about what I did. Well, that's all for this video. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you all in the next one.